Hello. Today we're going to learn how to make a subculture from a streak plate. Last time we made a streak plate that had a mixture of bacteria. And so if you look, I have a mixture of bacteria here. Normally we will use the lid as a shield, but I'm going to go ahead and take off the lid just for the sake of visualization. You can see that there are two different color colonies here. There are white colonies and there are yellow colonies. I'm going to zoom in a little bit to help you see better here. So we've got some white colonies and some yellow colonies. To make a subculture, what we want to do is find a colony that is isolated, off by itself. Because if you remember, when we made that streak plate last week, or last lab, the goal was to spread out the bacteria as far as possible so that we would get isolated cells. And then those cells would multiply and form a colony of the same kind of organism. So if we find an isolated colony that came from one cell, we can assume that all of the bacteria in that colony are the same. We're going to go ahead and flame our loop. As always, take the loop, insert until it gets red hot, and withdraw to cool. Now we will examine our plate. If you look at the plate, this is the original streak, and it's very thick there. There aren't any isolated colonies. But as we move around, you'll see that we'll be able to get some isolated colonies in this area. So I'm going to use my loop to sample one of them. I will take my loop and find an isolated colony off by itself. And I'm going to scrape that all up with my loop. This can also be done with a needle if the colonies are too close together that you think you won't be able to touch one without banging into another colony. So now I have my sample on my loop. I can use that directly to streak a plate. And because this is a pure culture, because the colony should only have one kind of bacteria, I can just take that and rub it directly on the plate, back and forth, like that. And by doing that, I should have that one colony spread on this plate. And now, because I've had bacteria on my loop, I have to flame it to kill the bacteria on the loop. Insert the loop until it gets red hot. Retract and let cool. I could have also used that colony to create a broth and then use the broth for a variety of purposes. The last thing I need to do is label the plate that I just made. So on the bottom of the plate, I'm going to label it my name. The type of agar, this is nutrient agar. This is my subculture. And because I took a yellow colony, a white colony, I know this is E. coli. The date, 37 degrees Celsius. And I will say this is a subculture. And then I also need my lab section. After that plate is incubated, it should have one type of bacteria on the surface. And that is how you make a subculture. Thanks for watching.